Greetings, friends. Welcome to a little ad hoc version of RadioGunk tonight. And it is Monday, March 7th. And we decided to do a show today because we just wanted to really go into Howard being on vacation yet again. So joining me tonight is Phineas Whiskers, which is Xavier, and Phallic Baldwin, which is Johnny. He's having a little bit of mic issues, so while he's talking, you guys just let us know if you can hear him well or not, and we'll fix him.
Okay? Monique used, Gary Puppet says, Monique used part of my Photoshop of Howard losing his mind while watching Beth eat Lucky Charms. LOL.
Yeah, I know. It was perfect. It was
how did that sound,
Photoshop.
by the way,
you
chat, compared to
perfect.
their volume?
You sound perfect. Yeah, how do we all sound? Because,
levels. Check the fucking levels.
Nothing like checking our sound and volume a minute before we.
Well, it's been in cruise control. You haven't had to.
No, you're right.
I mean, it's been even on the Deppening. We're always perfect. It doesn't require any sound checks. Yeah. And that's what StreamYard's supposed to do. It's supposed to level it off for you.
That's what it's supposed to do. So I just want to address one or two things.
Thank you, Shane.
I had a lot of comments last week and the week before about me being sick and coughing and all sorts of stuff. And so I finally went to urgent care, and I got my very first COVID test, which was negative. And apparently I have allergies, and I may have some sort of allergic reaction to mold because I'm sitting in a fucking basement, a sub-basement in Florida, which means, it's a breeding ground for mold. So if you hear sound in the background, that's my air conditioner running on dry, and I also have a fan on down here and all that good stuff. So hopefully it will help with my cough that I keep having and whatever. Yeah, Gary Puppet.
Canada with that vintage Canadian wit. Movid.
What did he say?
He said you have Movid.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
I do. So apologies in advance if I have any coughs, which of course I kind of do right this sec.
Did you get your mercury count like I asked you to do? Did Ashley give you a
mercury
Adderall prescription?
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Oh my God!
Now I'm on the Tussin. I'm on the Tussin right now.
Chris Rock.
Did they check you for scurvy while they're at it?
They did not check me for scurvy, although I would not put that past me. Yeah, it's because there's lots of humidity in this fucking hellhole that is Florida, and I do the
Did
show.
they apply leeches?
No, not this time. The marks it left on me last time.
HMO, a Greek tragedy? What the fuck?
I think you're low on riboflavin.
Yes. I have nuked.
That's still a thing, or did they eliminate that from the periodic whatever the nutritional table?
Yep, Mackie, I got that mold cold. Yeah, I just have a cough. It won't go away. I don't know what to do about it. So, all of you who made fun of me, if I does, then you'll all be upset, and we won't have any more show because nobody has the passwords to this.
I'm sorry, Miss Monique, but
Mo got the consumptions.
your cooties test came back inconclusive.
Consumption.
Dennis DeMiller combined you with Artie. Mogi Lang.
I don't know why.
That gout?
It's me, Moni. Can't stream tonight. I got a cough.
Hey, Gary. Hey, Gary, I can't come in.
Okay, so I'm going to talk as little as possible, although that's impossible because I can't shut up. So the reason, stop drinking the bong water. I don't know.
Dennis Miller, he's on fire.
I don't know what. Yes, I have kennel cough. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I hit the joint and drank the bong water, for Christ's sake.
So, okay. Here's what we're doing tonight. We just wanted to. I don't know why, but Xavier made some weird rudimentary schematic of Howard's days.
I did it on my phone while taking a poop.
Okay, well, and it shows. So we decided.
Excuse me, Mr. Plagiarize my fucking idea. on your spreadsheet.
Excuse me, mister. It was your idea to have the show tonight.
Okay, quite frankly. Okay.
Wow, you went there.
I did.
Was that a
I pull no
McDowell's
punches.
reference?
You actually, yes, he did. Yes, he just did a Mr. Pibbs reference, just right there,
McDowell's.
just that moment.
Anyway, our lovely
you know-
Monique put together a very lovely spreadsheet for all of us to ponder.
I did. Well, actually, what I did is I put together a calendar.
Home with a Big Nick.
What?
Mr. Evans from Good Times plays the boss of McDowell's, and he goes, "Well, you heard of a Big Mac, right? Well, we home with a Big Mick."
Big Mick. Okay, so so I made a calendar sheet to detail out last year, 2021's days off, because he is on vacation yet again this week, and
Yes.
all signs point to next week as well.
You know what?
So-
You know what it
Yeah.
was, Mo? It was,
What?
I just wanted to get some like just basic one-on-one information as far as his schedule. Like thinking there might be like a legit schedule somewhere on howardstern.com. But they if it is, that shit is buried like the
John
like the
Amos,
fucking
thank you, Chuck.
the terms of agreement for fucking iTunes, man. So
Yeah.
I just said, oh, let's just go look at Mark Friggin and see what days he had off last year, and it's a beautiful smoking gun, and so all of these are just based on what he did last year. And like I was talking to Mo, it's like there's no way he's gonna do more shows than he did last year. So at the least we have a baseline of where this lazy bastard is.
Yeah, so let's show everybody, buried like the Torah.
Now, you would think for these paying subscribers, right? All you people who bought stilettos and Starmates, he should give you a schedule of, right, when he's live on the air. Don't you think? I mean, he's such a consumer advocate. You would think he would, right? He would just
He respects the
email
working
it to
man.
all you great, right, the working man, and you would know when he's live. I'm sure you got one already, right? You don't have to make it on your own.
Exactly,
Sirius
right?
provides that, right?
So
He
what
acts-
we're gonna
He
look
acts
at.
like he gives this shit away for free.
Yeah, exactly.
He really
you're right.
does.
You're right.
He really does.
Well, he never really has, actually. He's
Well,
always
that's
paid
his
more
move.
than-
You're so right. He acts like he's doing you a favor.
Exactly.
He's not getting $4,000 a minute. He's doing
I
you a favor.
deserve. I
Yep.
deserve. It's a product that people have to pay for. What part of deserve equates in that
scenario.
scenario?
The professional victim always has that move in his hip pocket. Act like he's doing you a favor, and he's not the one getting $4,000 a minute.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
And let's wait. Let's start by remembering he's still in the same fucking place he does the show. He
Yeah.
is in his. It's not like he has to commute to freaking work. He is still
Even
there.
when he commuted, actually, he didn't have to
And
commute.
not only that, like I was
Right.
talking to Mo earlier, and it was like, he's a miserable bastard to be around. He's still complaining. He's still there's no part of what of the vacation that he actually enjoys.
I
You know, the only
know.
part he enjoys is that he's still getting a check and he's not actually producing a product.
Well, the fact that he's on 3 hours and complains about those 3 hours, and then does it again the next day, and then
Yeah.
maybe the next day, and then that's it. Most people's normal lives, I mean, even if you have to go to work like first thing in the morning, unless you're
Exactly.
doing manual labor, you don't really kick into gear until like 10:30,
Right.
11 o'clock, really. And so he has the entirety of the day ahead of him.
But it's a show that's solely for him. He doesn't have any quality control. It is whatever he wants it to be. He doesn't have to talk about. It's not like if you did a political show and you talked about Dancing with the Stars, you'd
Exactly.
be fired in 15 minutes. If you did, they have to talk about politics. A sports show has to. This thing is whatever walnut brain, goldfish brain crap he wants it to be,
Yes,
and
that is
you
correct.
need a vacation from. With 80 people writing for him. Do you know? I was thinking about this
Exactly.
today. Do you know of anybody in show business that has dialogue written for them while they do it? And I'm not talking about monologues. I'm not talking about sketches. I'm not talking about cue colors and Saturday Night Live. I'm talking about repartee, dialogue. Nobody in show business. He think about this. He has Benji writing him repartee and these other unfunny. John Hine A lot of people don't know this. I don't know. This came out. This might have been during your interview with Brent. Was the first time it was really stated bluntly. John Hine writes him his interview questions.
Like, did he really?
Yes.
That's why they're so boring.
Oh
See, like
so
what happened to the crazy Howard in
'90?
'90? It's mostly Hine, but yeah, there's probably
who's the other one?
Will Murray.
Will Murray. When it's a musical guest, Will Murray, right?
Yeah, has something because he's considered his head writer, quote unquote. But
right.
Well, you say, "Wow, God, his interviews are so sterilized now and by the numbers, and there's nothing." It's like, it's because who's John Hine's writing these questions? You're getting John Hine. This is because
nobody wants John Hine. Nobody.
Why was he the only one allowed to host the show? Because he's of no threat. He's an automaton. He has zero personality. He's of no threat. Nobody's ever going to go, John Hine really, really killed it today. He knows no one's going to say that. That's why he's the only one allowed to host another show. Right. Milquetoast, but now automaton.
Exactly. Sad that he doesn't have Buchwald representation anymore.
But there's Monique. Could you imagine having someone write dialogue out for you? Just casual conversation, pretending he's incapable of having because he's so out of touch, and there's so many that the red flag lists, so many unmentionables you're not allowed to bring up. So he has to have dialogue written out for him, not just jokes. And I'm not talking about monologues. I'm talking about just casual
like
conversation.
Basic.
Yeah, he can't even do that.
Yeah.
He's monitor after monitor.
The problem is, you guys, after 40 years, he's really all talked the fuck out.
No,
he just is.
Well, he has no life experience. Is the problem?
Well, exactly. He's a veal, of course.
Yeah.
The Howard Stern show where he has just talked about his 1% problems would be fascinating.
I agree. I've been saying it since we've been doing this show. The rich guy life of getting groceries delivered, and how that works, and your help, and who's staying at your houses, and the helicopter, and the private jet. That is lifestyles of the Wigan famous. That would be the only thing that could make this guy interesting.
Taking the green cards away from the help and then threatening them.
Celebrity friends that come and go in and out, parties you went to. It's the only thing that can make him interesting right now.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
We're not going to.
I know.
All you have to do is flip on a mic. He is at home.
Right.
He literally could do
that
this.
was the plan in the beginning,
He can do it right now.
That was the plan in the beginning. Let's throw the mics on whenever we feel the need. Something goes on.
Do you remember the ISD lines? We're doing the ISD lines. So we can do an emergency show if we need to.
So Chaka Khan says Howard respects John because he's rich, but John's not really rich. If John made
$3
million off of that show, that's a lot.
It is literally a Mr. Burns and what's his assistant? Smithers.
All this stuff. Smithers.
It's like Smithers and Mr. Burns at this point. You owe me a Coke.
Yes, exactly. He respects John for his money. He respected Brent for his military service. Both are bores. Yeah, that's as true as it gets.
Brent's better than Hine.
Right. So let's take shall we take a look at that schedule, or should we
Let's
start
do
with
it.
All right, I don't have that many clips tonight. We only have two things.
No.
John sent me one which I
can't
love,
believe
and I think we come back to that.
I remembered it from the year, and I remembered it.
I totally remembered when that happened too.
Yeah.
So I think what we start with, just so that we have a little preamble to the show, is this delicious clip. So give me one quick second here, friends. Okay. Now, what you need to notice and what you need to get about what's happening in this clip, and I'm not sure. Thank you, Arnold Strong numero uno.
That's on Horsetooth Best channel. We were just, oh my God.
Is it?
Yes. She has that in a video comp. That's on her channel, but she has that exact clip.
Okay, so we all know the term "a few Fridays off," right? But where does it come from? So you may not know this because maybe you weren't listening back then or paying attention to it back then. So allow us to hold on. Let me take that like and subscribe.
This is Con Man Huckster Salesman 101.
But here's the thing that we were realizing about it when we were watching it earlier. I know, Chaka. I know. I'm recording it. Okay, so simmer down. Okay. So what we realized about this is he's actually prepared for the question with being argumentative and being kind of antagonistic.
Right. Well, you got to remember who's working for Letterman, right? Vinny
Well,
Flo.
that's exactly right. And he has what does his shirt say about Les Moonves?
I hate Les Moonves. Really witty.
I hate Les Moonves.
Yeah,
right.
good stuff.
Okay, that
And
was
you wrote
very,
that.
very important.
Zing.
Zing. Yeah, really. Total zing. Okay, so for those of you who've never heard this before, let's go through it and let's hear what he has to say about his new schedule now that he's going to be on Sirius. So here we go.
I've sacrificed a lot of things in my life to do my job the right way.
Have you started taking the Fridays off?
I've taken some Fridays off.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
What are you, going to parties?
Hardly. I'm actually running 2 channels, and we're also we've got a television channel called In Demand.
But you're taking.
This is what I love. I'm running 2 channels and a television channel. It's not television.
No, it's not.
It's not
He's not running anything.
But you know what? You know what's
It-
great? If you can almost rewind that, you look at Letterman's body language versus his.
Yeah.
Letterman is so thrilled that he just.
Yeah, I know.
Look
He's
at that.
got like that.
He just shoved his thumb right up Howard's ass on national TV. And look at Howard, just stiff as a fucking board.
Well, he gets very defensive about this.
Oh my God.
Some Fridays.
Letterman's
off,
one of
which
the
I
few
love.
people you can't control and tell him
But
what
look
questions
at
to give him.
Dave's grin. He's just like,
Total
fuck you.
shit-eating grin. Absolutely.
You got to
It's
remember
like-
too.
Holy.
Don't
What?
discount this with Letterman. Howard bases a lot of his diva shit at Sirius on the Letterman show. So a lot of it
agree.
is him
Yeah.
going through the Letterman show, seeing what Letterman got away with, seeing clearing the hallways is from Letterman. He stole that from my Letterman. He saw all the things, and all the times he's done Letterman, he saw all the things Letterman got away with and all the advantages he had, and you can't talk to him, you can't look at him. All the eye contact stuff is taken from Letterman. And it's not a compliment to either guy. They're both pains in the asses.
You're so right. Howard never knows when a host is trolling him. So true. So
O'Reilly
true.
did it magnificently.
Okay, so let's play. Let's finish the clip.
Okay, wait, I rewound it a little bit, so let's
Yeah,
play it from where we are.
Right
Okay.
over again. Who cares? It's great.
Hardly. I'm actually running 2 channels, and we're also we've got a television channel called In Demand.
But you're taking Fridays off.
some Fridays, yeah. So are you.
No, I do 5 shows a week.
Well, good. So do I. I did 5
He
shows
records
last
2 in
week
the
too.
same day.
But you are taking Fridays
I
off.
take some days off. How many days a week do you take off? Let's be honest.
I take off. We do 2 shows Monday, 1 show Tuesday, 1 show
How many
Wednesday.
vacations have you taken since January?
2.
All right. I haven't taken any, and guess what? I've taken 2 Fridays off. So, I work pretty damn hard.
So
What a lying piece of shit.
There's nothing worse than him comparing radio to TV. There's nothing worse. There's nothing.
But it's all freaking lies, though. I mean, it's irrelevant. I mean, at this point, he could be doing a puppet show down at the freaking library. He's just lying out of his ass.
wait a second. What is this? I need to see this alert. Hi, Best. Hi, Monique. Did you hear that Vice is doing a documentary on Artie? No.
No. Who's
No, I did not.
Mr.
I need to know
but
more.
Just you go. Mr. Whiskers has a Artie tidbit.
See,
I need
told
to
you we
know
should've did it
more, Miss
first.
Best. And tell me what's going on there. I'd be really interested in knowing what's going on with that. And I'll
Welcome
have
to
make
the
some-
Radio Gunk family, Side
Yes, I'll have to make some inquiries.
I like what Dingometer says. I arm, that's true. Kimmel is his, look at this, firmware update. That is so poetic, Dingometer. On how hosts should be.
Where are we?
It was just above Cybest. He writes, hey, Arm, that's true. Kimmel is his firmware update and how hosts should be treated seriously. That's very poetic, a
Doug
firmware
Goodstein
update.
was on Bubba talking about it. Hold the phone. That deserves
Thank
a
you, Shane.
text right this second.
Speaking of Goodstein, I remember, and it's just one of these fights that I can't track down. I will someday. I remember him yelling at Howard, and speaking of Howard TV and how G. Canada says he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. He was yelled at by Goodstein because he was so lazy with guests and content and vacation that they couldn't fill up the Howard TV menu. It would stay the same for months. I had it, and it wouldn't change. I mean, it was like a Burger King placemat. It wouldn't change for 3 months. It would be because he was not only with the vacation time, but he was too lazy to book guests. He was turning like good guests down. He was so out of touch and so self-indulgent. He would be pitched like great people, and he would just turn them down, and the menu would never change. And you're like, what am I paying for?
Exactly.
Immediately.
Well, here's the thing.
Thank you, Shane. Sorry, I'm
Howard
trying
used
to
to
text.
goof on Jay Leno because Johnny before him had guest hosts, and he would always rip on Jay for, when he was off to not have someone sit in. He used to call him insecure. That why are you taking so much time off and
Yeah,
never
isn't
have,
it because it's a habitual medium and you want to hear something new and live all the time?
And here we are today, like
I
how
want to
we're
answer. I
taking-
want to answer Shane's question. Have you guys ever thought about covering some of the old shows that are actually good? So
Yeah,
we
we
were
do.
actually talking about that, and this is the thing.
We're gonna have plenty of time to do it.
We're gonna have plenty of time to do best ofs. Like seriously, plenty.
We did a
plenty of
show
time.
called "What Did You Like About the Old Stern Show?" It was a very good show. We
We
compiled stuff. of
realized
things
that the
we-
'90s, very similar to Seinfeld seasons 8 and 9.
Yeah.
The '90s of Howard were probably his best, and I can only say that because I didn't really listen before he got to K-Rock. So between Jackie leaving, Artie coming, and then him moving to Sirius, were probably about 5 or 6 years worth of stellar content.
I
Really.
enjoyed a lot of the rotating Jackie chair period because of the unpredictability and the variety of a new comedian sitting in, which is what I was so just a rube. I really thought, like, after Artie left, that was going to be the routine. Like, Chappelle sits in for a week, and here's,
Exactly.
Fitzsimmons, and then Carolla's in, that kind of thing. And it did nothing, not even close.
Cybest sent us a link for casting. They're casting for an Artie Lang lookalike for Vice Studios Canada.
That's
I
funny.
love it. Unfortunately, I can't click on this to link
It's all
to
good.
it. Can I?
But Rupert Pumpkin, when you compare Johnny Carson to Leno, it's like Johnny had Gary Shandling, Joan Rivers.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
he had all
Brenner,
kinds of really
Joan
good.
Rivers, Gary Shandling.
He had
Yes.
really good
Sitting in
guest
for him.
hosts. Where Leno, when he was not on air, then there was nothing but repeats.
I liked it better when Gary Shandling was.
Oh,
sitting
Gary
in
was
for
the
Carson. I
Gary
love
was
Gary
the
Shandling.
best.
Yep.
He was
That's
the
a great
best.
point.
Yeah, let me take a picture of this so I can text it to myself later and then look at it and then we
But
can.
and then regardless of that, the fact that Howard had the audacity to goof on Jay for doing that, and here his show, he's down to what 90 shows a
Yeah,
year.
but here's the thing, you guys.
So
We were just
that's-
looking at it today. Jimmy Kimmel does it every year. Jimmy Kimmel has guest hosts.
Can you tell them why?
Wow.
Good ones too.
What was
Monique,
the- what was
very
the origin of the
likable,
summer
talented
off?
guest hosts.
Well,
He
we're
had
talking about the blackface scenario where he had
Yes.
to take the summer off because
No, they made him
he
take the
had
summer
to.
off.
I said he had to take the
Yeah,
summer off.
there was no there was no like
No.
option at
There's
that
no
point.
negotiation on
It was
this.
either that or he loses his job.
Right.
blackface
but
thing was
in order
blowing
to
up.
keep the show running, they needed to have guest hosts. But I feel like whenever Jimmy went on vacation, even before he took off a
Not
solid
like that.
2 months.
Not like that.
No,
It
no, no.
was-
Before he took off a solid 2 months, if he went on a vacation week or so, he would have a guest host sitting in. He's never.
And to be fair, I've never really seen his show. A whole
No,
No,
lot.
he has, Monique.
I know he did.
I've seen it. I've seen it off and on. He has no problem. He's so secure with himself somehow that he really. And these are funny people. These are badass comedians that make him. He had
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence sit in for him.
Yeah, I mean,
He
didn't he have like Matt Damon? I mean,
Yeah, no, he
but
did.
that was
No,
a- that was a
David
goof.
David Allen Greer, Wanda Sykes, Anthony Anderson, Jennifer Lawrence, Brie Larson.
Yes.
Of all walks of life, he does not care.
But the only thing that's really relevant of all this is the fact that once Jimmy had a summer off, you can tell the wheels started turning in Wiggy's head that why is he having a summer off?
Totally. We talked about that.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
here.
yeah. Regardless of
Everything
how it
Kimmel
got
did,
there.
just like Letterman. Anything you do in show business,
Exactly.
he thinks he should get it, and he thinks he
Absolutely,
needs.
like the
Even
whole
if he has it better than you, he's that ridiculously spoiled that he doesn't even know. He's such a goldfish brain. He's like, I want that now. Even though I have a better schedule. Bill Maher, he looks at Bill Maher. He's on once a week, half the year. I should get that.
Oprah.
but
I
you're
mean,
on
the
radio.
whole Oprah thing.
Yeah, Oprah, right.
Yeah.
All right, I want to show you the schedule. Hold on. Let me pull this
While
up.
you look at that, Chaka Khan writes something, I totally agree. TV is completely different. They have hundreds of union employees. Also, the pay schedules allow staff and crew to survive during their hiatuses. Yes. Most talk shows are all year round.
There we go. Here it is. Hang on. Stop it. All right. Here's my PowerPoint presentation for you.
Ooh.
This is the Howard Stern vacation calendar for 2021. Everything in pink is where he is not. So total days worked in 2021 were 95 days of 3-hour days. Look at that.
Lazy bastard.
Look at this. Look
He's
at
working
this
from home.
I look at that
From
as
home. He's
I
not
see-
at a construction site. He's working from home.
I know. Look at that. I mean, I look at that more pink
Read
than
it and
a
weep,
John
my
Waters
friends.
movie.
Simba, everything the light touches means a day off for you.
Okay, I made it big so that we can look at it. So here's 2 points to note. One was, he took off on Monday, September 6th. And apparently, I think we did a show that time, John, and we were like, where's Howard today? He made no mention of being off either. And so that was the week that he had Metallica in with Miley Cyrus and Elton John. I'm pretty friggin' sure the only reason he wasn't in on Monday is because he had to work on Thursday. Period.
100%.
I mean, there was no...
You're
there's
never getting
no
anything back. Right?
Qualifier. There's no, overthinking it. There's no somebody's sick. Maybe a parent died. Remember, we had all sorts of thoughts about why he could possibly be off, and it was none of that.
Always think in the terms of he's doing the bare minimum of what his contract calls for, and never, ever, ever, no matter what you think you're paying for, he's never going to give you anything back. It's always take away. Always take away. All things go to, and it's like anywhere you
he
work.
He deserves it.
Yep, he deserves it. He's doing you a favor, making $4,000 a minute.
95 days, my friends. And then he also had 2 bonus shows on the week of Thanksgiving. And I guess these were makeup dates as well. The 22nd and 23rd. Those were bonus shows. There were no guests. It was just bullshit Ronnie stuff mainly. And that was it. And I love when he calls them bonus shows, as if he's doing us a fucking favor.
Dude, it's always that. It's always he's doing you a favor. That's how the victim thinks.
That's how the victim thinks.
That's how the professional victim thinks.
But if you take note, he takes off at least 1 week per month.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So here's January, here's February, here we are in March, where we're at the same time period, 2 weeks off. And then going into April, he takes another week off. Going into May, he actually took off the last week of May, first week of June. And then he announced, oh, that's the clip I was going to ask you to get, Johnny.
Which is what?
The one where on June 28th, he announced that he was going on a break. We probably
this
have
last
it in
year.
one of our
Yeah. It's the one where he did, and he was so half baked. You could hear the enthusiasm, and you could see he couldn't even do the huckster salesman thing because he knew how shitty it was.
Even Robin.
They were.
She was like, "What?"
Yeah. He's like, well, Dana Carvey is going to be sitting in and like,
on 101.
Is he going to be hosting your show, or what are you talking about? But they wouldn't even. He couldn't even explain specifically what these shows were. It wasn't even like he laid it out well. It was so he just lumped it in, and he just had no enthusiasm behind it. You could just hear I mean, if he's capable of guilt, maybe that's the only time I've ever heard of. Because he couldn't. There was nothing to be proud of. There was no enthusiasm. It was just pure hucksterism with no punch behind.
Absolutely, this is like actors filing for divorce over fax machines back in the day. And they would just send someone. But didn't like William Shatner did that or something like that? Or do something like that, where he just sent her a fax like, "I want a divorce."
Yes, that's
exactly something cold like that.
It's basically the sincerity that we got from Wiggy last year on Monday the 28th.
Jeremy Harrelson says a couple of times a week I go into my garage and work on my outboard motor. The effort is minimal, as is my knowledge of current new motors. It's kind of a relaxing hobby. This is the Howard Stern Show.
That's so well said.
That's
so well said.
Brilliant.
It really is.
It's brilliant, Jeremy. I love that.
Dead End Dust has a great about the TV aspect. I like how he puts because this is exactly what happens. He goes, Howard TV requires cable providers manually to download the episodes each night. So Ganji had to repeatedly call Optimum because they'd got 3 weeks with no new episodes and try to placate them install. I remember that well. I remember the Howard TV guys, going, this ain't because they're going, we're gonna get fired. We got no new.
I mean, it was the same move. He basically waits till the last second to tell all the Howard TV people you're out of a job.
Yep.
And so same thing with last year. He waits till the last minute. See you, dicks, until September. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was something I wanted to. Okay, so G. Canada is asking the obvious question, which is, why can't anyone ever take over for him? It's because he's the most insecure man known to mankind. He's very, very concerned that somebody will do what he does bigger, better, and funnier.
It ain't going to take
than he
much.
can.
It ain't just a little passion. It ain't going to take much.
I think
and he
what
knows
he doesn't
that's what...
realize, though, the sad part about it, though, is that, you know, I know that we constantly say, you know, he's been on air for what, like almost 40 years or something
50.
like this?
Well,
He
I know where you're
technically
going.
started in 1975 in BU.
Okay, so let's say it's 50 years, right? Let's
Yeah.
say this is how long he's been on air.
Yeah.
There comes a point where he shouldn't be on air anymore, like an old, you know, quarterback who thinks that he's still great. And
Exactly.
somebody's going to pay him to do what he does, even though he's not the shining star anymore. And Howard is so afraid that somebody could take his place and be better at it. Not realizing, though, that, you know, a simple 2-week, even if he told us to, you know, do a show for a week while he's gone, could probably produce some of the funniest shit known to mankind. But could we do that for 40 years? Maybe not. But he should realize that. He should realize that anybody coming in to do a show for him would be giving their 100% best of.
Yep.
And that's not replacing you. You know,
The Jack and Rod show?
That's like somebody getting like a new baby sister or baby brother, and it's
Yep.
like, well, he's not replacing you.
Right.
You know, we still love you just as much. It's just, you know, just adding to
You
the
can't have
family.
that. Come on. You know what?
Can't
At
have
the
that.
end of the day, it comes down to shekels. He's not going to give one penny to anybody that willing to sit in his seat.
That's a good point too. Like they'd have
There's
to
no
pay
way.
the person, and it would come out of his marbles as
Exactly.
well. I mean, I remember
Exactly.
even G Canada. It is so bad, and I just listened to a clip, and I thought about this too. At at terrestrial, I don't want to say K Rock because he's syndicated in all these markets. I don't want to be too New Yorky. He wouldn't allow an afternoon show. So Opie and Anthony got offered to do the afternoon. It would make sense, right? Have them both on the same. It was going to be like an all-talk format. He blocked it because he was threatened by the other day parts. That should have been there. Were became. I don't know if you guys remember at WNEW in New York had an all-talk format
All-talk,
before Sirius. So it was like Opie and Anthony. It was Pharrell. It was Bennington. And something else.
I love Bennington.
But you know
that
what?
was the.
It's
Go ahead.
ironic that this is to be.
No, he's cutting out.
Yeah, he's cutting out.
Casting.
Xavier, you're
X?
cutting out a little bit. Just repeat that.
Okay, hang on. I'll be right back. Hang on.
Are you going to click on and off? While he's doing that, let me say what David said here. Howard thinks he is in his emeritus years like Jon Stewart or Letterman and can just take it easy. He doesn't understand he's been asked to leave the party years ago like Paul Shore.
That's right. But here's Monique used sports, David, as the comparison, and she's right. But the problem with sports is merit based. Sports has statistics and wins and losses, and the best of the best always and is doing the job. In
That's
this
true.
case, he has no ratings. He has no merit-based system. There's no metric for him anymore. He's made it where you don't know what his ratings are. You don't know who's out there, and he won't let you hire anybody else.
There's no need for you to know.
Because he's so threatened by everything and anything. You can't even. He's threatened by guys on other channels on Sirius, even though they supposedly, quote unquote, work for the same company. That's how jealous and bitter he is about any and everything around him.
I agree, Dingo Tamer. O&A into Ron and Fez was killer programming.
It was a great time.
I loved Ron and Fez.
All talk
I
format.
still love
WNEW.
Ron. I agree, Fudgicle. I think Ron Bennington to me, and everybody who knows our show knows this, I think is one of the best interviewers out there.
He's actually a very nice guy, too.
Oh, my God. He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
That was who I went to see that time with Grillo when I was up at Sirius and I saw the whole crew going upstairs to a meeting. There were girls there. You'll never hear about them on air, but there were definitely girls in those meetings. And Chris Wilding looks like exactly the twink you think he looks like.
Oh, by the way,
And
did you see that?
he's the color
Scott
of
DePace?
my mouse.
Did you? You must have seen that. Scott. I think Gary Puppet found it. Scott DePace.
Oh, Chris
ripped
Wilding
Chris
unfollowed
Wilding
him.
today on Twitter.
Yes.
He called the whole staff on funny and stuff. Well,
No
it's just
way.
good. It's just good finally seeing these guys just go. And you knew DePace is going to be one to blow. I mean,
Yeah.
even if it's politically based, I could care less. Even if it takes some neocon blowhard to do it, whatever rattles their cages, I'll take it. Even though I'm worlds politically away from
Well, it's
the
funny
pace,
how
I'll take
how
anything I can
thin-skinned
get.
they are.
I agree.
Oh, I know, I know,
Yeah.
I know.
I mean-
there was one other thing I wanted to mention about the calendar before I forget about it, and I forgot already. Okay, the things I just wanted to make note of was he worked 4 days in December. I just wanted to throw that out there. 4 days.
Hardest working man.
4.
And then had a Christmas party. No, they did. I'm sorry, not last year. No holiday party
not
last
last
year.
year.
That's done. Then it's not ever coming back. Once
Not
it's
last
gone,
year.
it's never coming back.
Can you imagine how happy that makes him feel that he doesn't have to be at a party with or pretend to be with
then keep
Oh my
money.
God, that he doesn't have to pay for it. Are you
It's
kidding
not
me?
going
He
to turn
doesn't
into
pay for it.
bonuses either.
He doesn't have to talk to anybody.
Well, Monique, I don't know
and-
anything about. That's a write-off, right?
That is definitely
You
a
would think.
write-off. I'm sure it goes through 112.
Yes.
You know what I can see those parties being like? You know the way, like even in Game of Thrones or whatever stupid shows we watch, and or even Boba Fett, where he's like the new guy in charge, and so all the miscreants from different villages come and pay homage to him and give him like gifts or like money or whatever. That's how I could see the lineup. Like waiting to talk to Howard during the Christmas parties. Any little moment of time that they can get his ear. And,
Yeah.
he sits there like fucking King Farouk thinking that he's like the most special human being on the planet because all these sycophants are trying to just get his ear for like a minute's worth of time.
Well, you've seen the little nuggets on Howard TV, right? In between the interstitials where they would show this, and they're not going to ever show this again, where he's just arrogantly shoving yogurt and granola into his snout, and he's staring down at the console, and he won't even look up to give him eye contact on shit.
Yes.
They're just capitulating to his bullshit, and he won't even look up.
Yeah, there's a guy
Crazy eyes.
called City of Stern on Instagram. He has great clips all the time. And he had this one clip, and I had asked him at the time to grab it for me, and I can't remember what he did. Maybe he even posted it on our site. But it was like one of those, they were on a break, when it was on Howard TV. And a couple of the guys came in to talk to him before a guest came in. And the way he always talks about, we have these big meetings in the morning and we talk about what's going to be going on in his little Q&A. He's up all night thinking about questions that he's going to ask this person. Right. So the guys were standing there and they're like, okay, when he comes in, here's a really like amazing tidbit about him. Did you know that he blah, 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 blah. And then Howard would write it down. And then, and then Gary's just standing there, in his stupid tracksuit with his arms like crossed like this. Just like kind of like nodding his head while everybody else is
Frantically
providing Howard
pacing.
with information for the guest that's about to come on. And so I think he is absolutely 1,000% full of shit when he used to say how hard he worked for the show. And I want to play this clip that Johnny sent me too, because it really kind of ties into what we saw with the Letterman thing, and then we can talk about it on the other side, but it's really quite delicious. Right, so
You'll play
hang on a
now
second.
or wait till the end?
No, it's not even a cleaning out the computer thing. I think it
No,
works into what we're talking about with his
computer.
4 day a week and the. Oh, I'm sorry. That's one thing I don't think that we are actually doing today. We're definitely
Cleaning out the computer.
no, we're definitely not doing that right
Heath Ledger from the grave.
Okay, so just listen to this because I think it does tie in nicely with what we're talking about with the Some Fridays off. Here we go.
Howard, I got a question for you about
You don't say it right.
This okay, so the for some of you who may not know what they're talking about there, at some point he never shut up about the fact that he was going to Sirius.
Can you raise it up a little bit, Monique? It's slightly. It might be my fault, but
I will. So he got to a point where he wasn't allowed to talk about Sirius anymore because he was talking about it constantly. Like from the moment he got on air to the moment he signed off, he talked about Sirius. Apparently CBS came down on him. CBS came down on him and said, you're not allowed to talk about it anymore. This is part of the problem he had with Les Moonves for no good reason. The fact that you're self-fucking promoting the fact
Free
that you're
commercial.
leaving Yeah.
Well,
It's
think
kind
about
of
the
like
dumb-
me
It's a free
quitting my
commercial.
job.
Yeah. Yes. Try to.
It's like me quitting my job and then going to everybody at my office and saying, "Hey, guess where I'm going?"
The whole
Guess where I'm
time.
going, everyone.
The whole time you're there.
Yeah, the
It's
whole
like-
time.
Exactly.
Stealing all the shit I want off the computers, taking sketches, whatever.
Exactly.
And nobody caring. So then they decided that whenever they talked about it, it was going to be called So that's...
They're way too amused by that too. It's not that funny. And
It's really not that funny. All right, but here we go. Just in case you guys didn't know that, I realize sometimes when people leave me comments on YouTube, they're like, "God, what are you talking about? Who is this Blit guy? You mentioned him again. Who
Nobody
is
cares
he?"
about the new show.
I know. I know. We forget. All right, here we go.
It's like
Artie knows how to say it. Hold on. Here, Artie, teach him how to say it.
We're going to, if you want to get it, it's ooh.
I had a ooh this morning, but I don't know if I can talk about it, and I left a big trail. But big question: is it true you're going to be only going to be working 4 days, not 5? No Friday
Yeah,
shows?
that's right. It'll be 4.
How did you find that out?
How did you find out secret information like that?
It's all over the internet, but it just seems like you're being a little disingenuous not talking about it.
Well,
A little disingenuous not talking about it because here we are paying to come there.
You already got your money. So
And
now you
be
got his
there with you.
bonus. He met his bonus already.
I know, but look
Yep.
at it. Look at this. Not only are you getting Monique and Radio Gunk, you're getting the Deppening, you're getting cleaning out the computer shows,
right.
you're getting all this stuff. Even though I'm only going to be working a couple of days a week, you still
And,
got all the rest of the stuff to listen to. So what
Don't
the
don't
fuck
forget
are you
about
complaining
Whiskers
about?
101.
Whiskers 101. All the gossip that can fit in a little piece of... all the gossip that can fit on a little yellow sticky pad. Exactly.
I mean, I'm not telling you a lot about what I'm going to be doing over there.
Yeah, but and I heard you're taking 10 instead of 8 weeks vacation too.
That's right. I'm not hiding it from you.
I'm sorry, how many
wait.
weeks? What was that? What was
10. He goes, I heard you taking 10
8. I think
instead of the
he
8.
said
You said
10
no,
instead of 8. 10
instead of 8. Howard said he was taking 8. The guy busted. You want to know where this came from? So I figured this out, and I didn't have time to find the original clip.
Okay,
Opie
as
and
you're
Anthony,
talking, I'm going to count how many weeks he's taking off vacation nowadays. Go ahead.
Okay. Opie and Anthony blew up his spot. So they announced Opie had a friend. They were on XM at the time. So he had an insider at Sirius. And they knew who got me. They have all the same people in that world. And so he blew up his spot, and Opie announced it. And I guess they have a lot of mutual fans at the time anyway. And that's what he's basically quoting Opie, I think. And that's how their thing was to blow up Howard's spot. They were in XM, they were competing with him, and they were right about everything. They exposed him for everything he was when nobody
fact,
would
they were being
listen.
a little too
And we never
kind.
listened. I know.
22 vacation weeks now.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Ooh, ooh, ah. 22 vacation weeks.
out.
All right,
10
let's listen
to 22.
22. All right, so let's listen to the rest of it. Look at you, Canada. Sarah's great on the Deppening. Spelling. Her co-host, that guy is awful.
Agreed.
I don't care. Dude, I have nothing to hide. I'm not sitting
Liar.
here giving you the details of everything I'm going to be doing over there. I'm going to also be doing a lot of other things over there that you don't even know about.
Yeah, but this seems like you're going to be doing a little bit less.
You're damn right I'm going to be doing less.
Well,
Of
it
course
seems
I'm
like-
going to do less.
Well, maybe
I didn't even tell you this yet. I'm going to skip every other year. What do you think of that?
it
Practically.
seems like you're on your way.
Well, let's
Coming
hope so.
soon.
Well, I'm going with you, and I'm taking Terry Shiva with me too.
Good. And I think you'll have a good time when you go with us.
Yes.
All right.
Ooh,
Take
ooh,
care.
ooh.
Hiding something. What would I hide?
Everything.
Hide anything. Can't hide it. I'm on the radio. Ain't nothing to hide. Whatever I'm up to will be.
Yeah, you would have figured it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
We did.
But we have some interesting plans over there. Don't worry about it. I think you'll enjoy everything we're up to over there.
That's it.
But what was it talking about? Oh, Terry Shivo.
Yeah.
He's 4 months into his announcement, and he's already up to his flim-flam bullshit. He's already taking stuff
100%.
away. He couldn't even follow through. He won't even tell. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I'm up to. You just sold how for 5 months this huckster's running around selling things, telling him what he's going to do. Now he doesn't know what he's going to do because he's met his subscriber bonus, and now if he announced he was taking that day off, how many? I don't think he would have met it. I'm not
You're right.
sure he would have met it.
You're right, Gnome de facto. With all these people watching us, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button and the little bell dingy thingy because then that means that you will know when we're going to have a new show. And I always forget to say that during the middle of the show, but I'll put my little thumbs thingy back up there. Just
Yes,
for a hot
Tiger Lily.
minute.
Every single one of those plans died. There was no way. I mean, I just remember him making those in the beginning. I'm like, there's no way. He is so bitter and so jealous, and you never got. And I just remember, just based off we were talking about last week with him sneaking away on vacation. He's incapable
Sneaking
of being
away.
honest with the audience about the product. I knew it
Skulking
would not.
away.
Skulking away, yes.
Skulking
better,
away.
Even better.
Yes, you're right. And so the interesting thing about him going away this week is the clip that we had from the week before. This is always the tell. Hold on, now I have to pull it out of the trash.
That's
because now
right.
I'm just
Here's the
remembering
thing.
it.
Tim
He's not
Sullivan's
really going
right.
away. He's still there. He's just not
Yes, of
flipping
course
the
he's not
mic
going
on.
away.
He's not. I mean, for us to say that he's going away makes it sound like like he's not going to a studio. It's like he's still there.
Right, or that he's going on
He's-
vacation
right
somewhere.
Now, he is
that
like
he's
probably like no more than 15 feet away from that wine room.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Like no more than
All right,
15 feet.
Here it
Tim
is.
Sullivan, right? Yeah, an infomercial's more like it, just like the private. Tim, as I could think back, 50% of his material in his career is an infomercial for himself, whether it's Private Parts or Son of the Beach or Sirius or AGT. It's like 50% of his material. He doesn't know what to do if he doesn't have to run an infomercial. He knows that's the only material that he consistently
He's a
can
huckster.
pump out. He's a huckster. He's a
He's a
total
huckster.
con
John,
man.
quick question. Let's just say that Ray passes away. Let me pick a date on the 25th of June.
How about
25th.
tax day?
No. Wait till where I'm going with this. So
Okay.
June 25th, Ray, God rest her soul, passes away. Do you think that when Howard comes back on the 6th or 8th this year, you think he'll take bereavement time in September?
He probably has that. I bet you he has that in a fine print in his contract.
guarantee you.
I think he's like
guarantee you.
Putin with a battle schematic about vacation scenarios. If my parents pass away, I'm going to do this. I think he has. It's all about how much time can I take off, and how much can I bilk the audience for it.
Can you imagine?
It's all about.
Can you imagine if the day after he goes on his June vacation all the way through September, if one of his parents pass away, that's his worst case scenario. He's counting on that bereavement time.
I was telling you a story. I had a guy I work with. He's a really funny guy, con man, a little bit of a con man, and he abused the bereavement thing. They had bereavement days, and the receptionist, they would make fun of him all the time. I'm in the copy room. She goes, "Hey, Marge, Tom's aunt died."
Exactly.
Again, and they would look. It was a joke, and they couldn't do anything about it because it was like
a million years ago. I used to work with a lady that, my brother-in-law died. God rest his soul. I need to go all the way to Pomona for the funeral. And she took a week off, and then like a month later, it'd be like, my stepson's uncle died.
Wait, 5 bereavement days.
He's got the vapors.
Every other week was a bereavement. So Howard's nightmare would be if his parents died like the week of when he goes on vacation. He's gonna how am I gonna explain me taking bereavement time in September when they died in June?
That's Tim Sullivan says that Ray better have the decency to die before the Hampton season is.
Damn right.
He'll say, he goes, whose mom dies on Memorial Day weekend? He's got nothing going on.
Absolutely right.
Look at David. I love this word too. The force majeure section of the contract was the size of a Tolstoy novel.
Dang.
Jesus Christ.
David, what'd you get on your SATs?
My pulse is racing right now. That is amazing. That is amazing.
I do declare you have the vapors.
The force majeure section of his contract must be the size of a Tolstoy novel.
Listen, the Artie thing, just so that you guys are all aware, is coming out actually in June.
Ooh.
So it's this year.
So it's kind of made already. It's sort of like in the can a little bit. And
It's a big can.
I think so.
It's like a can that has spam in it.
Yeah.
Well, I pitched this a few weeks ago that we should be doing with all these talented filmmakers from Bon Jovial to Sara. We should be doing like a Beth documentary in the vein.
We definitely need to do something while he's away.
Yeah.
Wait, David, I just want to ask a question. Force majeure means like unexpected event, right? Like that's like
unforeseeable circumstances.
Okay.
Cindy Lou, who is the definition.
Oh, she gave it to us already?
Thanks, San Han.
Super Trooper says Howard has no respect and boundaries for Ray's privacy and her dignity. She obviously in a bad way. And
Yeah,
the only
Tiger
thing that
Lily.
she fucking do is goof on her pain. Yeah. Oh, no
Tiger
kidding.
Lily, Dennis Miller's use of Babe was stolen from Richard Belzer. A lot of Dennis Miller's act and swagger has been lifted from Richard Belzer's persona.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, Super Trooper, you're coming in a little bit late here. Somebody, the lovely Miss Best, told us that there was a arty documentary coming out and that Doug Z. Goodstein talked about it on Bubba's show or something to that effect.
Bubba.
And then she also sent us a link to them looking for, there was a casting notice in Canada looking for an Artie Lang lookalike. So I guess they're doing a documentary type show on
Bobby
Artie.
Moynihan.
And I just wrote to the boys to ask about it. I'm like, hey, nobody told me there's going to be an Artie documentary. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, it's coming in May.
Yes.
So Vice is
Did
doing
you,
this.
when you text him, do you say, I heard the whole Bald Eagles Jones thing?
No, I did not.
Tim Sullivan says a Gunk film
Cul-de-sac
festival.
Jones?
Yes.
Oh my God, I
Yes,
would love
Tim.
a Gunk film festival. I would love
Just
people
say-
to put.
I really think that would
Do
work.
Well,
Do
you
you
know
want
that
the
we are
full
working.
You want the full
McGill
McGillicuddy?
Cuddy? I knew you were going to say that. Bon Jovial,
So
just so
bourgeois.
you know, Bon Jovial is working on cutting up the Howard Stern Film Festival. You know, the one that has like all those.
Yeah.
stupid-
I got that whole thing on Howard
well,
TV.
no, he's cutting it up because there's a lot.
Okay.
Apparently, there's a lot of fluff in it.
This-
So
that's
he's
interesting.
cutting it up, and so many of them suck so hard. It's amazing that people actually contributed to this thing. But I think we're gonna highlight or showcase out the top 5, and then all the shenanigans that went on behind the scenes, because that's where all the fun is with those things,
Yep.
and not really in
Yep.
the shows themselves.
You got to see through the.
Yes, thank you, David. I thought so too. I was looking at it the other day, and I was like, "Shit, this is absolutely worth a review." Anytime they did those kind of on the scene, everybody coming to like an event kind of things, I think are the best. And just so you know, I downloaded the Private Parts book because I really, and so different from the movie, the amount of bullshit that is in that book.
You
It's
think
shocking.
so?
I mean, it is a work of fiction.
Is that when he
I'm
talks
actually
about
shocked.
meeting Michael Jackson?
Yes, it's actually a work of fiction, and I'm just curious. Let me see. Let me open up this book real quick. I just want to see if it says that it's a nonfiction book. Hang on a second. Let's just see real quick.
I found some
here.
really good stuff yesterday. Old Dateline specials, and they did on him and Shock Radio, and he basically he's so terrified of his own. He has them film the whole thing at his parents' house, and he just you know what I mean, like he diverts them to go to his, and they're going through and they're showing his old room instead of going to his house, which they really want to do. They go to Ben and Ray's house in Rockville Center, and they really go through the whole house into his old bedroom and stuff. And it's like something I
Thank you,
hadn't
Ida.
seen. Ida Greenbacks.
I'm
Been
looking
listening,
at
not participating
I'm
on
looking
the
at who he thanked in the opening just for fun. I just want to read this to you because I don't see anywhere that it is a work of fiction or that it is an autobiography.
If everyone, Super Trooper goes, Mo, can you do some shows on the infamous? We did the open source, right? That was done somewhere with us. The open source special.
We didn't do open source.
What? I'm telling you,
We've quoted
was
it.
Either teased
We've quoted
or
it, but we've never done it. Here, let me just throw this up here. Oh my
People
God,
need
thank
to
you so much, Ida. I did not see that. Been listening, not participating in the chat. Sadly, Ray is on her way out. Do not go gently into the good night. Yeah, you know what? Shamefully, there's not a single person that's on this chat, even if you almost disliked your mother, would talk as heinously about them as he does. and he's an absolute douchebag for doing that. Look at what we considered funny back in the day. I just wanted to show this just for shits and giggles. So this is the opening for Private Parts. Howard Stern, also by the author. Penis, Overcoming Homosexuality, Darkroom Photography, My Life with Fabio, Winston Churchill, The Teenage Years. These are the things that he, thought would be a funny kind of for his book.
Monique, how well do you know Ratso Sloman?
I don't. I only met him, just
I
very.
I thought you'd get him like in a text.
I had his girlfriend's card for the longest time.
I wanted
beautiful
you to ask
African American girl from National Enquirer.
I wanted you to
and
ask
we
him
bonded very quickly, and she gave me her card and told me to call her. We would hook up, and I never did because I sucked that way, basically.
I was gonna have you ask him what Howard made on the book. I think
Can we not even look at the fact that penis and overcoming homosexuality are two of the things that he wrote as things that were also by the author?
Yeah.
And that's just page 1 of the book. I mean, there's so much to this. It's actually kind of shocking to me. So I would like to get into that. I mean, even just the opening 2 or 3 pages where he does all the people that he thanks, and to his wife Allison, and about how hard it was to write the book. There's a lot to go through, I have to tell you. So we're going to do that. The book was written
so the Ronnie, the limo drivers of the world, could pick it up at any page and read it on the shitter. You didn't have to be, what I mean? There was no...
It's stories, right?
Yeah,
it's just it's kind of like a Mad magazine, except full of bullshit. And we are going to go through that. I wonder if I can get Benjamin on for that show, because he'd be really good at this show.
He loves all things Private Parts. He is.
I know. I'm gonna text him and see if he wants to do that with us.
He's got the Rain Man, Private Parts, everything about it, way beyond what the movie deserves or the book. But he punches holes in all those lies and we had him on, for the first time in 2015. And immediately he's launching into, he stole that, National Lampoon, Fart Man's not his, he stole from, and he had all these Steve Dahl bullet points lined up and all the things Howard stole from. Yeah, people don't realize that Fart Man was stolen from National Lampoon.
And guess what? People don't realize that Howard's really not funny. Here's the thing. He's not funny. He's not a comedian. He's not funny. Anything that he said on air was not from him. And if it was from him, it wasn't funny. So, you could almost go through this book and tell the things that he wrote versus the things that Ratso wrote.
Yeah,
or that Ratso took whatever he was saying to him and kind of conflated it and, kind of made it into something else. It's just kind of crazy. You're right, David. The first of those titles are double bluff. He would sincerely write those books. Absolutely, he would write those books.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So true, Beaverhausen. The hair looks much thinner in that photo. That's 93, too, Beaverhausen, compared to his current hair. Yep, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, wait, let's look at that again. Hold on a second. Did I fuck that up? Yes, I did. It already went away.
Tiger Lily, he had Tim Burton on in the late 90s to promote, I think it was Planet of the Apes. And they were talking about Fart Man, and he's like, well, what, I couldn't. Burton was going to direct and stuff, and he wouldn't admit that it's not his. It's National Lampoon's. He doesn't have the rights to it. It's not his to make a movie of. And talking about licensing their shit and stuff, and he was lying to Burton's face. Burton had no idea where it came
he made it up.
Yeah, he made it up.
He was the guy. Dingo Tamer says he doesn't even know what is funny. He had to be provocative to lure in funny and interesting people. Yeah,
Look
that's
what his taste in TV.
Correct.
We talk about fucking Courtney. Friends. Are we gonna pretend Friends is a good sitcom? It is the worst.
Never watched
it. So corny.
Hello.
It is cookie cutter and corny, and it's by the numbers sitcom. It is no better than any other piece of crap that came out around it. It is so bad, and that's his idea of comedy.
But Monica's hair.
I know.
Exactly.
We could, it's like some legendary thing. It is so bad. It's the most overrated thing probably in the history of TV.
Yeah, agreed.
It's very forgettable.
It's very forgettable.
Interchangeable.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like when you're their age and you're struggling to just pay your $300 a month rent, let alone the fact that they live in something
in a
that's like
5,000
quadruple the
square foot
size of your
studio.
A
apartment.
coffee house
Yeah,
waitress
New
at
York.
Sarah Jessica Parker's
Exactly.
townhouse.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
It's like,
realistic.
fuck those people. Yeah, Friends
But-
did suck. I
but,
agree.
you know,
The worst.
But you know,
Yeah.
it'd be New York. It's cool that they had all those minorities on the show.
Oh, yeah, I know,
right.
I know.
They were like the Jetsons of their time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I know I played this clip last week, but this is the only indication we got last week into the fact that he was going to be taking vacation yet again. Here we go. Oh, it might be a little loud. Hold on, let me lower it. That's a snurch. Hang on.
By the way, next week on Howard 101, I
Yeah,
have to
just
tell
listen
the
to this.
fans of this, Robin, you already know this. Stern Show storytellers. Yes, the wrap-up show hosts will play tapes of celebrities telling amazing stories on our show, and it's good.
Ooh.
Oh, boy. We've had some
yeah.
great revelations happening on the show.
Nowhere does he
Also,
say he's going on
because of what
vacation.
everything that's going on in the world and all the craziness, I needed someone who makes sense to come
Someone
on
who
here.
makes sense.
Very soon we'll be seeing Jon Stewart. I'll be speaking with him. It's been way too long since we had him
Way
on the
too
show,
long.
so he'll be
A
showing up.
serious,
ago.
funny man.
Does
By
he
the
know
way,
that?
here's the sad thing. Jon Stewart's no longer funny. I hate to say it.
Yeah, he's kind of. No, I agree.
He's kind of jumped the shark. He has that special on HBO now, and I was all looking forward to seeing it. And you know what? He's somebody stole his funny.
Well, he's allowed to walk the line of political journalist and comedian. So he's let the politics take him over, and he's all right with being humorless. You know what I mean? He has enough of a following where he has no pressure to be funny anymore. He doesn't really.
He's also filthy rich at this point. He
Yeah,
doesn't-
right. There's
he
no
doesn't really-
incentive.
But he's
at all
really
to-
like the straight guy.
Yep.
He's a straight man. And I found his show to be like boring and turgid. You know,
he lost his smile. It's pretty good. I'm gonna. it's pretty
Stewart
well
lost
said.
his smile. Yeah, he did. He really, really did. And, you know, he looks a little haggard. He's lost a little weight. He's wearing that really, really gray beard. And
He's 60. He's almost 60. I think he's 60 or almost 60. Which is
you know what,
crazy.
though? Yes, I agree. Tiger Lily, the world broke his funny. Can't blame him. But you know what? He would have been stupendous during Trump's years. Really, he would have he would have been my go-to TV, just to goof and, you know, as opposed to like these assholes like Kimmel and who's the
But,
one on
you know,
Channel 2,
but-
Colbert. Horrible.
Well, going back to what we're talking about, this is the fact that he's bragging about having celebrities tell stories. He does know that everybody in Hollywood has a podcast at this point.
Yeah.
So why would
he got on so
why would I
late.
tune
He has
into
one too.
Sirius when
Yeah.
I can literally like just tune into some dude's freaking podcast? It's ridiculous. Everybody
But John,
has.
here's what I don't get. Jon Stewart's supposed to have a hyper, kind of not comedic radar or what's and to think this Stern show is good. I don't believe he thinks it's good. There's no way someone that cynical who could be pumping out really brilliant daily shows almost in a day. And by the way, the Daily Show is like doing a Saturday Night Live weekend update every day. Like Saturday Night Live pats themselves on the back for doing it, you know, once a week, and they have 1 million people.
And it's
working.
not even
He's
good.
doing it it's not even good. He's
Yeah, it's
doing it
not.
every day, or 4 days a
I
week, or whatever.
I had a thought about this, like last time we did the show, about how Howard really thinks he is like Saturday Night Live. Like he really
Oh.
thinks that he's a Tonight Show kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and it's really something he's always wanted to be, but he never.
The
really
pinnacle
could
of
be that.
satire and going.
And that's why he has so many people. You know, all those shows have like a bevy of writers, right? And they're all like, you know, they're all working overtime, like Saturday Night Live. It's a ton of writers. And so he always wanted to emulate that and be like that kind of show. But he doesn't know how to hire people that can actually really shine, because he doesn't want anybody to shine. Like, ultimately, he doesn't want them to shine.
He would be like if Lorne Michaels were a performer and got to shoot down anything. Only
Yes.
he just wanted the credit for every single thing that
Yes.
was there. He would sabotage his own show just because he wanted
Yes,
credit for
that
everything.
is exactly right. But I just wanted to get to what Fudgicle asked here. Mo, have you ever talked to Jackie about the Howard is gay theory? Jackie always mocked Howard for being bad with women. Is that the old man's way of implying that he's gay? I think I did ask him that when we did the show with him. You know, we asked him about the wig. We asked him about the gay thing. And Jackie loves to play that line of still being a little contrite and not being like a bad mouthing kind of guy. And so he would never answer questions like that. Sadly,
he's trying to take a high road, which he shouldn't take.
He doesn't have to.
Because we all know he deserved. When he explained that, he laid it out to Monique and the whole thing with the goofing on with the Jackie Matt. He's absolutely right. When you're going into, what do you say, 25 markets, and he wants 125th because he's the shirt that made that pop. He's writing him. He's when you thought Howard was funny. He was such an integral part of that show, whether it's questions for guests. And I listened back, and I really was kind of a rube to it at the time. I didn't realize just how much he wrote. Howard was really good at delivering Jackie's lines without making it look like he wrote it for him. So I was even fooled into thinking that was coming out of his mouth. And Jackie will tell you, it's far more than you even realize. But
oh my God, you know what's so funny and so cute too? In Jackie's basement, he has everything he's ever written for Howard.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, okay, this is a snot rag, but I don't care. The funny thing is, he had so many of them that like started out like this, because what he would do is he would write it, he would crumple it up like this, and he would throw it at him. And then Howard would like open it up and read it, and then throw it on the floor. So all these papers that he has in all these folders were all like just crinkled papers that he uncrinkled so that he would have that archive of funny stuff that he has said to Howard. Yep. It's really spectacular. And he has files and files and files of this shit.
But how cynical, how distrusting of your own boss do you have to be to go to that level back then, to have the foresight to go, yeah, this guy is such a
He thought they were going to be worth something
I'm
someday.
saving these, and I'm going to have proof, or they're going to be worth something. I'm going to tell exactly what I did. Like, if you were on the same page as him, you wouldn't need to do that. You're like, he's going to give me credit for, and I'll be able to, do whatever I want after this. But he knew Howard was so going to not, give him his props that he had to save a paper trail, for Christ's sake.
Yes, and he did. That's exactly what he did. He saved a paper trail. I just think that Jackie lives in the past a lot, right? And so he lives in a world where those were the good days, and
they were.
And he was with the band that had like a couple of really good hits, and then
the
they didn't
Beatles.
need him anymore. No, like, you can't call them Beatles. Fuck the Beatles.
That's what he thought. He said that they were the Beatles.
Yes, he thought that they were the Beatles, but in reality they weren't. They were like,
and then he ran over his cat.
Howard, like Melvin and the Blue Notes or something. Like they weren't, Diana Ross and the Supremes.
They were Hermits.
No, they were Diana. He was Diana Ross, and the rest were the Supremes. And one Supreme could be replaced by another Supreme any friggin' day. We would never know the difference.
They were more like
right.
If
Jackie doesn't give you a firm no, that's yes. When he dances around, exactly right.
No, you're right. He did not give me a firm no.
By the way, I'm sorry, as Zuma Dog, can you contact me on Arm34 on Twitter and give me your request again with the date of your appearance so I can just really have it saved, because I can't remember the date. I had to go back through the whole chat. Just get me on Arm34 and write me the whole date you were on so I can get it for you.
Oh yeah, right. Zuma Dog wanted to know that. No, you're absolutely right, Zuma Dog. If you're basing Stewart being funny on the Daily Show, he had a staff of right. Yeah, of course he did. They all do. We got that. And you know what? He delivered funny. Okay, how about that? How about I never saw Jon Stewart live at the Improv or anything like that. I don't really consider him a comedian, but he had great writers. Everybody who does that is only as good as the writers that are behind them. And so he had great friggin' writers. I mean,
Jon
look at everybody who was on that show.
He had a great agent too. If you remember Jon Stewart, he got a lot of chances in show business before that.
Yes, he did.
He
did. Like
had
Bill
a show
Maher
on
almost.
TV,
It's just like.
Then a syndicated show that failed. He was Arsenio's replacement. That failed too.
Didn't he have a show on MTV where Howard was the first guest?
Yes, that's exactly right. And
it was an MTV show, and Howard was the first guest.
To promote something. It was not out of the kindness of his heart. And Craig Kilborn was the host of The Daily Show. And if Craig Kilborn wanted to stay with that, Stewart never would have gotten that, because Kilborn killed it on that show. He was like kind of apolitical too, a lot goofier. I loved Kilborn on The Daily Show. I actually preferred it.
Kilmer, what happened to that guy? He was funny,
he went
and then
to
he
CBS and then just had it. I think he had some weird investment.
What's his name?
Craig Kilborn.
Craig Kilmer. Or Kilborn, whatever.
He subbed for Artie once on his DirecTV show.
Did he really?
For like 3 days. I swear to God. I call him
funny.
too.
Craig Kilborn. Let's
He was like
see
super
what
cynical guy.
Yeah,
Craig Kilborn.
he was really good on the Daily Show. He had that like Sports Center delivery, but he always had like a cut above the other Sports Center anchors, and you could tell he wanted something bigger in show, but he just didn't have that daily grind mentality.
He's absolutely done nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at this Wikipedia. Other work. In the movie Old School in 2003,
Yep.
Kilborn played Mark, the philandering boyfriend of Ellen Pompeo's character. 2006, Benchwarmers, he played Jerry. 2011, he played the villain in an episode of Chuck. Kilborn guest hosted the Artie Lang Show November 6th
Yep.
through 8th, 2013. Again, even Artie has somebody guest host his freaking show.
I don't know how that went down, Monique, because I listened to that every day, and he just came out of nowhere. They didn't announce it. He just already didn't choose him. I don't know
random.
where. I think DirecTV
So
might have been
random.
courting him. It was
Totally
really bizarre.
random. I bet you
Yep.
Artie just fucked up and didn't show up. And the final thing in his work.
Hey,
you ready?
Craig, this
He-
is Artie.
He appeared in a TV commercial for Kraft Macaroni and Cheese in 2016. So
Yeah,
literally,
the guy-
that's like 5 or 6 years.
The guy
of
was a shit
hide
for a
nor
minute,
hair.
and then he just like
God
disappeared.
damn it.
Wow, he
The
really
rumor
did
is he had
disappear.
some weird
He
investment
pulled-
that did really well, and he was able to walk away from.
Really?
Could be.
He won't
He
talk-
pulled
yeah,
a. That's
that's the
called
rumor.
pulling a Tears for Fears.
Yes. Yes, you're exactly right. And they're back together, and they sound great. I would really love to go see them live.
Something happens
Actually.
and I'm head over
All right,
heels.
so I think that's where we're at now. Unless there's anything else we want to talk about that's in the chat, I think we are done for tonight.
You don't want to do the whiskers
Oh,
You-
shit!
you
You,
do that
gotta
a
remind me of
lot,
these
man.
things. Come on.
thing? You do that a lot, and then it becomes like really awkward and
Come
like, it's not even that
on.
good.
And I didn't even write it down on my little
Yeah,
list.
got to show you.
You know why? You know why? Because we don't have a special Mr. Whiskers thing like on.
Cleaning out the computer.
I kind of feel like we need one for Mr. Whiskers because we always forget.
Monique, can I just address Joseph Sinu here? It's love listening to you guys, and I'd love to hear all your opinions on when the show really changed for the worse, in your opinion. Maybe what you liked about the old show. I think when it changed for the worse is when Howard got threatened by Artie. And
I'm not your bro. That time.
Knew it. What's that?
The I'm not your bro time. When
Yeah,
are we
I
talking?
think probably getting the Sirius when he had no quality control, when he had no ratings or accountability, it was bound to just get pulled away, and he became all about money. And I think I'm gonna say really the start of Sirius, I think gradually got worse every year.
I would say. What was the question again?
When did you think the decline of the show started in your?
Definitely in the Sirius years. I think he got way too big for his britches. I think
No,
that
you know-
he
you
was
know when it
making a
was?
shit ton of money, and he didn't care anymore. Oh, I love this answer. Giftscriptions.
Yeah,
No,
that's a
it really noticeably took a dip after the lawsuit. When
yeah,
two
that's
shows,
blatant. That's
two
blatant. I think it was
shows.
before that. Though.
I mean, it was not doing so great, but that's when it was just like, poof, it fell off like a different tier.
I think he
sorta
was going
kinda
to
being
find a
funny.
way to. He'd find a way to kill his own show, regardless of whether that lawsuit.
No,
went
absolutely. Well,
he's
possibly,
incapable
but I mean,
of being a
if you're
consumer
gonna look
advocate.
for like like an actual date or like a time,
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest dip was after that he didn't give a shit. After that, he was gonna leave the second he could, and it never went back. Before there was still some fluctuation, go over 15 minutes here. It wasn't like before we would go off at noon, but
Yeah.
like after that, boom, like F you, I'm contractually obligated to leave at 10:30 or whatever it was. Boom,
Yep.
10:30 done.
The
Show's
barest
over.
minimum of the contract. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, and
He's been bitter little wiggy since then.
Bitter
And-
wiggy. But
Yeah.
more importantly, we have. You know what, David? We have to. I will make an intro for this. If you do a little.
remember?
Monique, one last thing about Stewart.
Yes.
He's notoriously hideous to his staff. So there's stories about him just raging at his right, and he actually was a strike breaker. He actually wouldn't stand up for his writers, and there's this great feud with him and Seth MacFarlane from The Family Guy about standing up for your writers and stuff. He was like really hated by the Writers Guild during the whole writer's strike.
What do you think would have happened if Howard was on TV at that time?
Which time?
He could care less. First of all, I don't think anybody's union in the show.
Yeah, he'd have it where no one was union and it wouldn't be an issue for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Buckwald would stop everything.
They wouldn't care. I don't think
there's great stories about the contract. There's apparently they all signed a contract when they did the E show, where it really was an indemnification. It was just basically you're not going to get paid. Howard's the only one making money, and we never really found. I would love to know what he made.
Yes, when Richie Wilson was on, if you recall, he said that they never got paid. They didn't get paid SAG wages. They got paid radio wages, which are completely different than SAG wages. So even though they were on TV, they all got it kind of screwed by not getting the actual wages that they deserved because they were on TV.
Yep.
So that was
Artie, who
Scott was the last union guy. You're probably right.
Artie, who was an established comedy actor at the time, he said he got the E contract, and Artie was a pretty good sport. And he did well off the show, but he's looking at this thing going, I'll sign this. But Artie knew it was bullshit, and he knew that he should be getting a cut from E Show.
Yeah.
And
they all
just
did.
went along with it.
Every one of them thought that they should be getting a cut. And they didn't. But yeah, you're right. So Beanie Mac, that greedy fuck Howard, had the nerve to sue Sirius after being paid a hefty subscriber bonus and a merger bonus on top of that.
Could you imagine doing that? Could you imagine getting that
I can absolutely
one or two
imagine.
wigs?
I can absolutely imagine that. Now it is time for a Mr. Whiskers moment. So I would like to segue into Phineas so that he can... but you have to sing, okay? So you just know this.
Hey, Val, how's it going?
Hi.
Hey.
I heard you had something to tell us about tonight.
It's kind of an oldie but goodie, but we recently found out that a certain baby gorilla back in the throes of a few years ago when Scott's wife was in desperate need of funds for some chemo type of stuff. The rumor was that baby gorilla, I don't want to, allegedly did a special performance for Scott and his wife. And as we all know, Mr. Whiskers reported a couple years ago that when it was all said and done, all the money that Baby Gorilla promised didn't really come to fruition. In fact, the only money that ended up exchanging hands when it was all over was Baby Gorilla giving Scott $1,000. And you think, well, $1,000, $1,000. But no, actually, it turned out that Scott had lent Artie $1,000 not too long before that. And so the only money that Scott got was the $1,000 that Artie owed him. Meow, meow, meow.
Whiskers, we're all really impressed how a feline like yourself can cover your legalese ass by saying allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hey, if we didn't learn anything from some weirdo who sued, who was it?
That's Star Jones.
Oh no, Sion Z got sued by some guy.
Yeah.
Which I think is
allegedly. Oh my, look out.
So yeah, I wasn't sure how you were gonna go full circle on that, Whiskers. Just in terms of what happened.
What the fuck you want from me?
Yeah, I know. The Tiger Lewis doesn't surprise me a bit. Junkies aren't known to be givers. So that's a crazy story. So he had loaned him money, and that's the only money he got back after he did a charity show for him. Wow. Yeah, poor Scott's wife. You know what?
It's Brendan Schaub, right? That's Joe Rogan's UFC.
Right.
Was he even in the UFC? I don't know much. I don't know a ton about the UFC. Was he a regular fighter? Or was he like a one and done?
Who was?
Brendan Schaub.
That guy who's suing
That's Rogan. He's on Rogan's show like every other week, and nobody knows who he is.
Probably. I don't doubt it. Listen, I'm not going to say he wasn't. He's suing people.
His channel was removed by YouTube? Sion Z?
A few times, wasn't it?
A few times. I thought he was like New Yeek now.
Yeah.
New Yeek. I think that's the name
Yes,
of
that's it. That's exactly what it is.
Channel now. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, he read the He read the complaint live on air
Middling
and showed
fighter.
like the whole
Thank
thing,
you,
which
too,
I thought was
Master.
kind of fascinating. Oh, Unique is gone too? Oh man, that's a shame.
Uh-oh.
You know,
Allegedly,
yeah.
allegedly. Don't sue me, bro.
You can't hold me legally responsible.
Yeah, can you imagine that Artie had to borrow money from Scott? Like, seriously, can you even imagine that?
I can't.
Artie's making tens of thousands of dollars just on a Saturday alone, you know, from like all these sold out shows that he was doing.
Hey, you know,
But,
the Giants didn't cover. What are you going to do?
Yeah. He was a prolific gambler as well. That's right. I forgot about that. So it wasn't even really just the drugs. It was the gambling as well. So, yeah.
Monique, start backing up all her stuff. I got a feeling we're going to go for a ride.
David says Mr. Whiskers needs an origin story movie. We started. And say, "Hell, that's my RG Film Fest treatment." I love it. I think that's absolutely perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, that is perfect. Well, sorry for Unique. I know there's people that love him.
He'll be
that
back.
hate him, but
They're always back.
he'll be back.
It's like
That's
dying in a
exactly
Marvel
right.
comic book movie. No one ever dies.
Spotify just
He'll be like Gary
Unique.
Puppet. He'll be Unique 235.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I have a question for the audience before we close off for tonight, and that is that if we were, and I would like your thoughts and opinions on this, and I'm going to make a question.
Will you marry us?
Of it.
Dan
Yes.
Filato.
I'm gonna
Just
make
say it. Audience, will you marry me?
Yeah, Monique. Two masters.
Wait.
right
Let me not lose my train of thought, please, because I'll forget. What I wanted to say is that, you know, at some point we'd like to maybe disengage a little bit from Howard and maybe go into, like, let's say the Howard Stern multiverse. And what other person in the multiverse would you guys like to hear us
Kenneth Keith.
talk about? And I really want to know what you guys think. And yes, we can do shows on, you know, to infinity about great old Howard Stern shows, especially from the 90s and his Mad Tear and when he met Beth and all that stuff. And I think that would be phenomenal. But, you know, even for us, we realize that even as we do these shows 3 times a week, when he's doing shows, it becomes a little like, oh my God, it's redundancy, right? And so, yes, I have made the vow that I want to do this, but the thought, what?
The utmost confidence that between John, you, and I, we could literally talk until he comes back to September if we started now about something.
Yes.
There is zero, like, I don't think there's any, like, governor on how long we can just talk about this kind of
riff
shit.
off of anything.
Yeah.
Red bars.
I like that riff. Ooh.
Exactly, Dorian. Agreed. He still isn't back. Speaking of Red Bar and his marathons, our next Deppening is we hit the 5-hour mark, Monique. 5 hours of reading
break
the.
it up into 2?
Nah, we should. We were
we
thinking about
shouldn't.
that. I pitched your advice, and Sarah runs a tight ship. She is
absolutely.
she's the Marcy Turk of the Deppening. She runs a tight ship. She insisted 5 go. I think we wanted to see the big fat 5 hours just shown. You know what I mean? Just like a weird mark of hit.
Hello?
Doing the we're reenacting the trial that was never shown on TV.
Hey, John, how many times
sex
has she
offenders, the late night guys in their bullshit. My brain is spinning. Well, David, by all means, send me an email about it. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on it. You guys put some thought into it, and yes, of course we like anything related to Ralph, but we have done the Ralph show several times, and he I think it's up on the channel. I'm not really sure. You know, Bon Jovial's been doing a yeoman's job putting up all the old shows.
Wow.
He recently put up the one I did with Elliot Offen. It was so funny. You know, for the longest time, I didn't show my face on camera, so I had this stupid fucking cat. I had whiskers, actually, in front of my face while I was doing the interview. But I will tell you honestly that he scares us a little bit. He does. He's a really scary person in person. And you almost think that he could, like, you know, be one of those people that pushes you off of the train platform and you never saw it coming. That's the kind of guy
he's
he is.
10 Batman villains rolled into one.
Yes, he is.
Two-Face, he's the Riddler, he's the Joker. This Batman has a villain called the Ventriloquist, who pretends to be a gangster. He's
Yes.
him too. I mean, you could think of 10 Batman villains. He's he's Arkham Asylum.
But when
rolled
you
into one.
see him up close and his makeup is kind of like
The Diddler.
running down his eyes,
Too much.
and he actually wears makeup. Like I
know.
don't wear any makeup at all. I
Yeah.
wear some eyeliner, and that's pretty much it. Maybe some gloss. But he wears like makeup.
He's out loud and proud with how Howard dresses at home. What Howard really wants to look like deep down, coming out of the closet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Howard would have much better makeup artists because Beth would do his makeup for him.
We prefer Gina Bobina over G Canada.
What? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Okay, so think on the multiverse, okay? And I would love your opinion on that. And I think that's a wrap for tonight. As we think of things that we might want to do a show on, it's obviously no big deal for us to blather for an hour and a half without talking about anything.
Do you think we should do a show on the Ben and Ray show? From
That's what we
101?
were debating. Do we wait until one of them dies, or do we do it now?
Because I have a
Let's
great
do it now.
addition
Let's
to that.
do
I
it
have a great-
now.
I found a great addition to them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because they go to they go to the house. They go to Ben and Ray's house in Rockville Center, and it's a Stone Phillips Dateline documentary. And they go to Ben and Ray's house, and you look at these parents like, these are the parents that's terrorizing him. Yeah, right. They couldn't be sweeter. They couldn't be. Ben's talking about how he supported every hobby he ever had and brought in. He diffuses all Howard's bullshit about them. And
Absolutely.
he says it's you'd love it. It's a great addendum to
the best part about the whole thing. Hold on, let me blow this up so I can put it on the screen. Give me a second. So I was looking at this picture. Oh Jesus Christ! No, I don't want to be selected for login. Shit.
Kenny Loggin. What?
No,
Newsweek. Wait.
Newsweek won't let me log in so that I can show you guys this picture. Okay, but I'm looking at this photo, and I had seen somebody on Reddit just made the funniest observation, and I'm shocked that I never noticed it myself.
That's true, Darren Kersey, right? His dad was a pornographer in Times Square.
Okay, so this
Elliot.
picture,
Joe
the one that's
Corson.
on the right over here,
Yes.
with him on the bed at his
Yep.
parents' house with their brass bed.
Rebel.
The comforter matches the wallpaper.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Who
you're right.
does
Yes.
that?
Yes, ma'am.
That's creepy.
Who does that?
Not me.
No, not me. Not me. The comforter matches the wallpaper.
Is that
insanity, I tell
is
you.
that a
Ooga.
vagina joke?
Ooga.
Is that?
No.
Is it?
No.
That's-
Wait, what
that's-
does David want to say to you? Hold on. I'm choking. Sorry, hang on.
Oh God.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Sorry.
I
I
wanna
just
know-
laughed out loud at the grocery store at Kenny Loggins like a mental patient.
And I bet you Kenny Loggins was playing over the grocery store's music.
Hold on a second,
I'm
let me read
all
this.
right.
Nobody
Nobody
heard
worry
about
about me.
Little Kickship says, unless you break it up into early years of Ben and Ray on the show, break down the lies that they call him out on, whatever later on he admits to it. No, there's this great George Flowers interview that they do, and then Arm's going to tie it in with the, what was it, 20 minutes? I mean,
It's
60
about 15 minutes of them going through their house on Rockville Center. It's a house
minutes?
they lived in their whole
I
life.
really want to see that.
And his old bedroom, and it's got to be it's like early 90s when he just was hitting. Promoting
Okay.
the book. He's always in promotional mode. As Paul Colford said, Howard is doggedly inaccessible unless he has something to sell. And instead of going to his house, he goes to his parents' house. They wanted to go to his house, and he diverted them, and Ronnie drives them to his
Like comedians
parents'
in
house.
cars getting coffee. When
Yes,
he gets picked up at
exactly,
Laura's,
Monique.
hallway.
Exactly.
Isn't it
God
true,
forbid you
though?
see how rich he is.
That's just,
Whisker, isn't it true that, like, even the Kardashians, like, none of those houses that you see them in are their houses?
or what they were saying about cribs where they
yes
rented
and no.
houses instead.
I know for
Apparently
a fact that some of the
What?
houses were their own homes.
Oh, really? I don't know why I
Yes.
thought for some reason that, like, most of the time they're not really filming in their own homes.
Nuh-uh.
Let's do that, Monique. It's a nice, easy show to do because we just got to get the two things and not go nuts with overproduction and 17 hours cutting clips. And
Yes,
let's do
yes,
that. Let's
I
do
am
that.
with you. Let's
People
do it.
have a lot of fun with that. You punch holes in so many fibs about so many misnomers and embellishments and bullshit, defaming his parents.
Mrs. Beaverhausen says, I am ashamed. Home Depot is installing the same Ben and Ray Chevron-inspired flooring in my bedroom. Chevron is very in. No, Beaverhausen. You're doing the right thing. Chevron is very in. I did a wall in Chevron tile.
Okay.
It looks beautiful.
She's
right on. She's right on.
David's at Safeway. She's at Home Depot. This is great.
Yeah, everybody's doing shit. Okay, so we're gonna leave you now. And all right, so I'm gonna leave you guys now, and thank you, Xavier and Johnny, for participating in the show. And John, let's talk about what we want to do for the next show. And yes, you guys have homework. What do you want to see in the Howard Stern multiverse?
I say we
before we go.
What?
She brought us back.
What?
No.
Just
wait.
we
We'll
firmly
talk about
commit
later.
to that Ben and Ray show. For
Blah, 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 blah. What?
Anyway, we'll get to the Beaverhausen. No.
I'm sorry, John. What were you saying before can us here?
Does the Beaverhausen match the drapes? No, I was saying
Get to the Beaverhausen. No.
we firmly commit to doing this Ben and Ray show on this break. It doesn't take much. It'll be fun. It's not going to be heavy lifting.
Yes,
I will get it.
I'm saying yes right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
We're doing it. Okay. Everybody okay with this?
Yep.
Okay.
Cleaning out.
Oh fuck! I didn't want to do that either. Okay, hold on.
Cleaning out the computer. Good.
Thanks for hanging with us tonight. Please join us for any discussion at RadioGunk.com in the forums section. Follow us on Instagram or Twitter at RadioGunk. And don't forget to like this and subscribe to us and hit that little bell so that you know when we're going to have a new show. Thanks.